from just outside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where conceding 3 wasn't the plan. However,
you need to put your hand on your hip and touch the ear.
It doesn't even need to be finished. It's just perfect. Thank you.
we still won to start the homestand.
Oh, there was more?
Yes.
It's irrelevant.
Thanks. It is the 5 Takes podcast, and I'm irrelevant, but we are back.
Not you.
When we're back like
no, you're totally relevant.
Like World Championship Cup Bowl final figure skating. Jennifer badly wanted an intro tonight that had something to do with the ice dancing world, which I know nothing. It
wasn't just ice dancing,
which I know nothing about.
Did they win the championship Super Bowl series?
They did win the championship Super Bowl World Series, and I just need y'all to give me 2.5 minutes of your time to go on a little bit of a rant about how exciting and awesome the world of figure skating is again.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasons for this, not the least of which that it took them 20 years to figure out how to create an artistic program that fits with the way the scoring works now. They changed a bunch of stuff around. Basically, and I grew up in an ice rink. For most of you that don't know me, I spent 17 years as a competitive figure skater. So this was my life. And I watch it, I have my friends and we have these little snarky chats where we yell at people for wearing gloves and tan skates and whatever. Anywho,
shame.
There's reasons. This was, you wanted me to keep this to 2.5 minutes. I'm not expanding on the whole universe here.
You want me to not comment at all?
No, you can totally comment. Anywho, my point is this has been the most exciting to watch across the board, all disciplines, world championships of figure skating in the better part of 2 decades. And not just because the U.S. figure skating program is coming back stronger than ever. The U.S. program won 3 world titles. That has never happened before. But not only did they win 3 world titles in 3 disciplines, they also secured, and this hasn't happened in 35 years, 3 Olympic eligibility spots for the pairs, 3 Olympic eligibility spots for dance, 3 Olympic eligibility spots for the ladies. And I think we got them for the men too. I'm not sure the way that the math works. So
it's quad. They got the quad.
They got the quad by the quad god who in all his emo brilliance went out and won himself a consecutive world title. But I really just want to highlight, you may or may not watch figure skating or know a dang thing about it. Y'all need to go and watch Alyssa Liu, who just won the women's title, her program to MacArthur Park, because it is one of those just absolute pure moments of joy and brilliance. And you can see it exude from every ounce of her being, just how much. It's not just how great of a skater she is and how good her technical quality is. It's how much she genuinely loves it and connects with it. And I think it's really rare right now to find these little moments of joy and happiness that are out there. And she was just such a shining light. The program is brilliant. It's fun to watch. It's, technically masterful. There's not one thing wrong with it. It's so elegantly composed, but still fun and playful, which is really, really difficult to strike that kind of harmony. And I was going on with my skating buddies about it. That just went on my all-time top 10 program lists. And I've seen 40 years worth of figure skating programs. You don't make that list. The last time I added something to that list was in 2018. So it's been a long time coming. And it's, for me, going into an Olympic cycle like this, it's super exciting because it's going to make the Olympics next year so much more compelling to watch. Yeah. And let's face it, the Winter Olympics have not exactly been super compelling to watch because figure skating has sucked, and figure skating has been the marquee event in the Winter Olympics for a long time.
So. It has. That's when my wife and I love to watch it. It's something, it's kind of like swimming, I absolutely love to watch the swimming. It's my almost one of my favorite events in the Summer Olympics, but I don't watch swimming any other time because it's not usually available, for one thing. And there aren't, it's not like a baseball season where there's 162 games. Calm down, Glenn. Or,
Braves are about to lose broadcasted.
it's just not broadcasted super all the time.
Sure.
So when you have the opportunity to see something as incredible as, forgive me, I didn't see it, but as this sounds like it was, that's great that you were able to see it outside of the Olympics and outside of just normal competition, although this was Worlds, so I understand. But it's really awesome that you can kind of share in that sport at some time that isn't just the Olympics. That's awesome.
Well, and just to be fair, it's been a very rough couple of months for the figure skating community in general with the plane crash that,
absolutely,
that took the lives of I think it was 32 people associated with U.S. figure skating, coaches, skaters of all ages that were coming back from a development camp at U.S. Nationals.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the Skating Club of Boston, who hosted the World Championships this year, they lost two of their coaches, and I believe it was something like 8 of their skaters and the parents who traveled with them to support them during the nationals and during this development camp. Mm-hmm. And if you go back to 1961, when they established the Memorial Fund, because there was another plane crash that took out the entire 1961 U.S. Worlds team, all the judges, all the officials, all the skaters, all their parents and supporters. And there's been a fund established in their memory for years that we all fundraised for at local ice shows and whatnot. So it's kind of a very tragic, but also very moving full circle moment for the community, because Skating Club of Boston had skaters that were on the plane in 61 that crashed, and they also had skaters that were on this one. So Maxim Namov, who lost both of his parents in that plane crash, they were coaches that were there. He competes in the senior men's level. He was 4th at nationals this year. He skated an incredibly moving tribute to his family that was broadcast earlier today. And then, the pairs from the US, they sat there with the pictures of everybody because they practice at that rink, right? Like, so it was a beautiful moment of community. It meant, yes, the skating was phenomenal, but it also was a point of rebuilding and renewal, I think, for the community to have a touchstone and have a competition go off so well like that, especially in the midst of a tragedy. Like, it was really beautiful to watch for so many different stories.
Well,
thank you for giving me the space to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know how much that's what we experience when we go to matches. It's what we experience when we go to any kind of true sporting a competition. I don't care if it's fucking cornhole or baseball or skating or whatever the fuck it is. If it brings people together and brings you joy, that's the purity and the beauty of sport. So that's what we come here to do, is we come to commune with each other in the essence of sport. So it's beautiful. That's great. I'm happy that you were happy. I got to experience a little bit of my own sport this weekend. Some softball was going on, and that's super fun. A 12-year-old pitching speed record was broken this weekend. The previous record was held by Monica Abbott from University of Tennessee. She had the record was 77 miles per hour, and another girl from Tennessee, as a matter of fact, beat it at 78.2, which, by the way, to anybody who doesn't know some of the statistics of softball, that's basically 100-mile-per-hour baseball. Because of the distance and the reaction time in the difference between softball pitched at 40 feet and baseball at 60 feet. That's the difference. It's 100 miles an hour. So you get up there, especially if the thing rises or drops or curves, good fucking luck hitting it. Seriously. The fastest I ever hit against successfully was 62.
Wow.
And that was pretty fucking fast in 2001.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like it's a slouch ball.
No, it's not. No, that's an 87, 88 miles per hour fastball in baseball. So yeah, it was, that was a pretty cool thing to watch. And I watched that live. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know. It's great that, some things that maybe don't always, and that made Sports Center. So, hey, cool. Things that don't always necessarily make the news, can sometimes bring into light. You could go your whole life and never be on TV, so I love that. I love that we're able to experience all different types of sports and all different levels.
I think it's great.
Sparrow played her first T-ball game, so it's like I get to live that too.
That's the thing. Sport is in general like such a unifying force that could be such a unifying force for good, right? We don't like seeing the ugliness of the San Diego, of the altercation that happened between San Diego and visiting LAFC fans, right? Like that's not fun. There's ugly sides to everything. And I mean, Lord knows we played one heck of a weird MLS After Dark match this weekend. But it's these things, and having the space to talk about it and find some common ground, like, it's why we do what we do. And it brings, it brings a little bit of a smile to our face and some distraction from stuff that we all desperately need right now. So
that's right.
Yay for figure skating really being back. Like, it's just so refreshing to see, like, the sport coming back to what the best expression of it can be.
Wonderful.
Sorry, I was getting with my bookie. I was looking at the odd lines for over under on 2 minutes. I took the over, so I'm doing really well. I appreciate that.
I thought you were checking with your bookie, because I'm gonna put what's the spread on Ilya winning the gold medal in the next Olympics, because I want to know what that.
I have no idea, but I knew that wasn't gonna be at 2 minutes.
Okay, that was okay. But Kat talked about her softball stuff, so it wasn't just the skating.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. It was 10, but that's fine. I love it.
He has to.
I knew it would be, and I love it. I love that you're passionate about it. I love that it brings you joy, that it has helped you build a sense of community. It's given you purpose. It's built friendships and memories, and those things you cannot put a price on, and it is worth the time to talk about them. It is a bit ironic that you're talking about skating when Atlanta United more or less skated by last night. Craziness.
I it's funny, because I had a guy comment on my comment, which was that basically I thought that, up to the 60th minute, Atlanta United had no business and no right to win that game. This was not a take. This was my own comment, my own conversation between one person. And because by all rights, they kind of didn't all the way up to that point. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I only had that feeling because we haven't ever, at least that I can recall, and I've seen all of them.
San Jose.
Maybe not all in person, but I've seen every single game.
San Jose. A couple years back.
Yeah, but not like that.
No, it was different, but if you were looking for something to compare it to.
And I did. I told you that.
That would be.
So
I think that's actually like the most accurate match comparison ever, too, because that
was what I said. But what I told Glenn earlier, I was like, I don't think I couldn't. I told him, I said that was a funky, weird VAR was in it in its infancy. They didn't know how to implement it all the way yet. What did we have? Like, wasn't there like a 5-minute pause because they didn't know what the fuck to do?
No,
they didn't realize what had happened.
No, it was implemented correctly. You couldn't stop the play. There wasn't a stoppage in play.
Well, okay, right. So that's what it was. But I mean, we went. It was
correct.
Like we went 6 minutes back or something like that, and they called off one of their goals. Called our goal good.
It was weird, but it was all
switch.
On the up and up.
Yeah.
It was done right. It was just weird, and this one was weird for different reasons, but equally weird.
But this one feels more legitimate than that one did because of the way it happened. This one was 3 legitimate unanswered goals that all came from the play.
I feel like my big takeaway from this is that everybody got what they deserved here.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because all but one of those goals
mistakes included.
Exactly.
Right?
All but one of those goals came on absolute and total bonehead defensive plays on both sides.
Yeah.
Except for Alexis.
I mean, no, Alexis.
Except for Alexis' goal.
Well, we'll talk about him.
Miggy's wasn't.
Not all that dissimilar to the Cincinnati game, where there was, some sloppiness that was taken advantage of on both sides. And it kind of was a parody in that sense. We still haven't seen the version of Atlanta United that has been foretold and prophesized and promised, of complete 90 minutes control, just outright outplayed in all phases of the game. We haven't seen that yet. But what I've been harping on over the, since the start is, okay, if we still need sometimes take teams take more time than others to develop those connections. Fine. During that process of developing, you still got to find ways to win. At least we did that yesterday. It's not complete by any stretch, but we found a way to get it done. And that's more important than anything because we just can't drop
Is it better or worse that we were asleep for the entire first half and decided to wake up for the second?
I don't know if it's better or worse. I'm just happy that we found a way to get through it. And I said Cincinnati, you could build on that. All right? Well, we did. We built on this with at least another result.
I loved the video, though, of Ronny in the
it's great.
In the training room, just
in the latest Rooted in Stripes episode?
Yeah, just laying into him.
I'll tell you.
It's not fucking good enough. Oh, I loved that.
I could take it.
I don't care. Sometimes you gotta light a fucking fire.
True. I could take it two ways. One, it's good that he's having that conversation now instead of halfway through the season like it took Pineda to get to that point. Okay? Or are we so bad that we're already at that point now? It seems to have worked.
Either way with it.
And great credit to Alexi because I thought that episode ended pretty ominously. Honestly, I think they kind of did Alexi a little dirty. And that's the Michael Jordan meme. And I took that personally. He came out. He came out.
He came out. He was the most switched on player all night last night.
Let's start it. Let's just jump into number 2. I'll come back to number 1. But Alexi, far and away, our best player. Shocking. I know. I'm saying this. This is not AI. This is me. Look, I can be objective. I know I've been really critical of him, but I have no problem. I want to give him credit, and I'm going to. He connected passes. He actually picked his head up and hit great first-time balls to attacking runners. And he was confident in doing that and not just, you know what, that looks a little low percentage. Let me just pass this thing back. He didn't. Yeah. I think it was maybe half dozen balls into the final third. 95% on passing on 45 passes. That's confidence. That's what I want to see. He was involved. And a goal. Well positioned for the goal too.
You haven't been overly critical in the sense that you haven't been unfair. Jennifer and I are just, she's
more optimistic.
We're more optimistic or even just more neutral about it. Maybe one might even say more objective in some ways, but it's not that. It's you haven't been unfair. You've just been, it feels sometimes like you hyper focus on him, but for good reason, because we need this fucking guy to come through.
And he did it.
And he finally is starting to. And I said, and that's what I said to you when I sent you that little clip. And I said, listen, dude, if you come good, my brother, we will love you forever.
You'll get
if you play for the badge and you play with your heart and you prove that you have something for this city. If you do that, we will love you. Well,
it's even more just the badge. Like, he's doing the job. Part of that is his position, and Ronny making adjustments there. We'll get to that too. He will get a much warmer welcome, I think, than he got this week. Nobody was booing him when his name was announced, but nor was it roaring, and I think we're going to hear that at Dallas.
You got to give people a reason to roar.
He'll get it at Dallas. I bet you he will, because people will remember the performance, and the goal helps for sure,
Tremendously.
He was also 3 for 5 on his ground duels.
Okay.
Much more physical. Great, man. Like I said, I'm ready to eat that crow. Serve it up cold. Yeah. Like, I'm ready. It's great. I'm delighted for him.
While we're on the subject, and while we're on the subject too, we didn't make it a take, but I'm going to sort of make it a sub-take with Miggy getting a goal, because I know that both Latte and Miggy went up for that header, and I don't even know if Miggy really knew that he scored it, because the look on his face wasn't the pure joy. He didn't just. He was happy, but I mean, he hasn't been like flashing that smile all over the stadium as much as you kind of what we're used to. I honestly think that maybe this was a huge step for him too. I think it's really important that he
just to add into that. It really was impossible, like watching the replay and everything. It's really very difficult to tell who actually got that goal. I don't think Conti in the booth said, "Yeah, I'm going to give that to Miggy."
Yeah.
No, but he like even he at the time it happened, like he didn't know whether it was Miggy or whether it was Latte. And I'm going to choose the path of Latte gave it to Miggy because Latte didn't need it. And you could see in the way that they celebrated, if you watch the replay of the match and everything, you can see in the way that they celebrated that goal that like they're kind of talking about something. And I really feel like it was, you know what, get that monkey off your back. Let's just do it here. And, you know, everybody's got to break the ice sometime, right? Like, and that
he needed it.
Hopefully,
like Newcastle was having a parade that day, and he couldn't be there. Open top parade for the energy drink cup. Good for you, Newcastle. Hey, look, you haven't won a trophy in a while. I'm not going to poo-poo on it.
No,
go for it.
Yeah.
I was really happy that he got.
As a Liverpool
he needed
fan,
something
I'll
today.
let him
Get
have
a goal. You couldn't
sure.
be there. Get a goal.
Yeah.
Great. I'm super happy for him. Super happy.
Yeah.
For
everything. I think everything about this game in the second half, after the 60th minute, after Jennifer got her milkshake, everything is going to be a confidence builder, because they didn't have much to show up for prior to that 60 minutes, which is unfortunate because Alexi's goal was really, really good.
Yeah,
he
smacked
was
it
right
first time.
there.
He didn't surprising where he just snuck in and just boom.
But did you see too the way that he accepted that? He didn't run over to the corner flag and go nuts. He slapped his chest.
Good response.
Pointed to the badge.
He pointed to the badge.
He pointed to the badge.
He thanked the
good.
the things that
he also pointed to the bench.
But he didn't go nuts. There was no ego there. He just said,
it's good.
It's for you. And I love that. There was after the 60, there was a lot to be happy for. But prior to that, I almost felt bad that his goal might have been overshadowed by a terrible loss.
And
so I'm glad that didn't happen.
After the 60, it wasn't a take in hindsight, which is always 2020. It really should have been the adjustments that Ronny made. Ronny didn't get everything right in this match, but he got enough right eventually. Some things he didn't get right initially, for whatever reason, Saba is better on the right. I don't know why he's not good on his left. You would think him being on the left, cutting in on his right, he would be pretty effective. But for whatever reason, mental, whatever it is, he's not. So he's better on the right. Saba goes to the right. Saba gets his second own goal in a week. Sure.
Yeah. Can we have a moment that I don't want to keep calling both of those own goals because I feel like
they're goals.
They were both very
it's fine.
Very calculated crosses into the box with impeccable timing and awareness on the part of Saba to literally bank the exact same ball off a player's foot twice in a row.
That's right.
They had happened
an accident.
any other way. I know, okay, it's an own goal, but like, he knew exactly
fair
what
enough,
he was
and
doing.
I'm not taking anything away. Goal's a goal, and he creates both of them. So he's created two from the right.
That's right.
Nothing from the left.
It's almost like in those circumstances, someone should score it as he gets an assist, if anything, because it was his cross that made it happen. You know, it's like
I don't understand the scoring.
I don't know that they should, especially and that's the other thing too, is that if something is a deflection, sometimes it's given as a goal to the person who hit it, and sometimes it's not.
Well, these are both. I mean,
I don't know.
It's the last touch.
I'd love for.
It's an own goal, but I don't care. Like
I don't know, of course,
and
no, of course, and that's what I'm saying.
Great.
Like you got it. Like statistically speaking, they should give him an assist or something.
Well, statistically speaking,
it's like pepper in baseball. The more times you pepper the box, they're gonna go in. So I don't care how many times Saba has to do those crosses, because obviously, if he does it enough times, they're gonna force errors, and we're gonna take it, and we're gonna take those goals, and we're gonna cash them at the bank.
Statistically speaking, they should give Brad an assist too, but I digress. The other thing Ronny got right
did they not?
was, well, he should have the assist, but they haven't given it to him because it wasn't directly to him. It was just in front of him. But anyhow, Miggy playing more central as the 10, better, a better look, and Alexi dropping back more of calling him an 8. Call him a 6.
So I wanted to ask you.
It's worked.
I want to ask you this question because we're looking this as Alexi's best game in a shirt, right?
I think so.
I mean, I think we can make an argument for maybe the Miami match last season, but like I really feel like this was I really feel like overall this was the best expression of Alexi's versatility and ability, because so that's my question. He scored the goal and he played really, really well in the attacking midfielder 10 role in the first half, right? Got the goal. He was creating chances. Bonehead plays aside, that had nothing to, what was going on offensively had nothing to do with poor play in the central midfield on his part. Right. Now, the offense really opened up and sang when when Bartosz got subbed off, which apparently is a knee thing, like a knee tweak that Dyla said was not serious. But either way, when they were forced to push Moranchuk back into more of the 6 connector role,
and more
obviously
goals
we then went out and more goals came. So
look, I'm
what do you do with that?
We haven't worked everything out yet, and that's Glenn has been.
Because it's completely
no offense,
different.
Dude, but Glenn's getting very impatient, and I think a lot of other people were too. And it's not just Alexi; it's people are getting impatient to figure out what we're supposed to look like.
Well,
because
I just
we
feel
still
like
don't know.
Well, it's two completely different offensive, it's completely different tactical setups.
I think I have an explanation for you that might answer all your questions about Alexi.
Please blow my mind.
I figured this man out.
Okay.
His role he is better suited and more the truer expression of himself, as Kat put it, as that deeper lying 6, last arriving to the top of the box player. Was he in that position for his goal? No, he was just playing a little bit better. Saba can play a little bit better on the left, but he won't be his truest form. He won't be his best form, his final form, until he's on the right. Alexi wasn't playing, wouldn't have done as well as the 6 in previous games anyhow. He's getting better.
Yeah,
so
I still prefer
him. I think you're going to get more out of him. 6-8 position, whatever you want to call it, 6.5, a 7. But he still showed us more in a role, in a position, more of a 10 than we had seen before, and that's good. And now he can take that even more when he's better utilized, where he's obviously more comfortable and more effective, because we don't come back and win this without him dropping back to there. He was very instrumental in all that. He played with more confidence than we have seen, clearly. On the other end of that, unfortunately, a player who did not play with a ton of confidence is Dominic. And I'm not here to shit on this kid. He's a kid. He's 17. I was disappointed that Ronny didn't make the sub at half. I think I understand it. He was probably worried about, wrecking his confidence, yanking him out, because he didn't do anything egregiously wrong. He just didn't look comfortable. But the risk of that is what happens. He gives up a goal. He's at fault there, and that's a confidence wrecker too. And then you got to yank him out stage left directly after that, and that's not great. So I don't like the decision to keep him in. It's one of the things I think Ronny got wrong.
I don't agree.
I got questions about why Ronald Hernandez wasn't made available. He played for the Twos tonight. Twos played a good game tonight, by the way, against Chattanooga. 2-2 draw. They lost in penalties, but Ronald went 90.
Yeah, so, he looked fine.
Left back, I don't know why we had to use our last emergency call-up with Chankwi.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand how all that contract structure.
This is the last time we could use him. We got to put him under a new
contract.
But
I'm just, and again, I could be completely wrong about this, but he was on a short term, it's not like an emergency call-up basis. I think it's it's a short-term
emergency call-up. You can do it 4 times in a season. This was number 4. He's done. He can't come back up.
Unless they sign him to him to a new deal.
Yeah. And that's a problem. I mean, 0 for 3 on his crosses, 0 for 1 on long balls, dispossessed twice, 2 for 6 on ground duels, 69% passing on only 16 passes.
Yeah,
he wasn't, and again, I'm not shitting on him. The thing is, we have seen
you just did.
Those are stats.
No, he's not.
Those are stats.
They're just statistics.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because other kids have come up and shown more than he has. Not every kid is built the same, and he is much younger than even a Noah Cobb or an Edwards. He's only 17. He can't even vote
I want to
yet.
put this,
So
I want to put this out there.
yeah.
He's actually the second youngest player to ever start, to ever suit up in the first team and actually appear for the first team.
Yeah.
You might remember another left back who is the youngest player to ever do that, who happened at the time that he did that to be the sixth youngest player in MLS history to do that. So you were at, and then compound that with Amador, who was announced in the starting 11, right?
Yeah, he wasn't
going down
to.
in warm up with a quad. This kid was not mentally prepared to go out and make his MLS debut, and they gave him
maybe
5 minutes to say, "Oh, hey, okay, well, you know what? Next man up."
Okay.
And the thing that I want, yes, was he great? No. Did he have a bunch of issues and challenges? Yes. Absolutely. But the thing that I liked best is right before they subbed him off, he created a really beautiful chance for Latte right at the beginning of the second half after the goal that he coughed up, that, with the just, play with the ball at his feet. And he just, thought he had more time than he did. That's 100%. You move from, next pro or minor leagues up to MLS. It's like, no, you don't have that time and space anymore. Those guys are going to close on you like this. That's a spatial awareness thing. So he goes then down the field, throws a beautiful cross into traffic in the box that Latte just kind of misses off to the left. And so I think there was a little bit of redemption there. I'm not going to go too harsh on a kid who found out 5 minutes before he was going to make his MLS debut and didn't even get one of the debut shiny kit patches because they didn't have
one for him.
Put one on his jersey. So
maybe some grace to Ronny there too, as far as not having Ronald in the lineup. Didn't expect that to happen. Thought Pedro could go 90 or at least 85. And you had Dominic on, give him 10 minutes for his debut was the plan. So, okay.
If he saw the
give
pitch
a little
at
grace
all.
There. Okay. All right.
It's just without being able to be in that press room and ask the question. We don't know.
I don't think that
it's
question
speculative.
got asked either. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't, and I think it's because most of the press did, actually found out. Oh, hey, this is what happened. Right. None of us in the stadium knew. It's like, wait a minute, where did Pedro go? They don't tell you in the stadium. Oh, Pedro's not starting anymore because he hurt his quad in warm-ups. Like,
right.
It's bizarre. All of a sudden, hey, who's the guy with the mop top out there? And I will say, I thought a lot of Dominic Chunky's game in the preseason. Mm-hmm. I thought he was playing like a man. I thought I don't.
Man.
We said that. We said that frequently.
There's certainly a lot of youthful inexperience, but I think the kid's got a really bright future.
All right, so there's not without reason. Okay, they're decent. I can see it on some of that.
The only problem with all of that, and it's and that's all great, but some of I will say I can think of at least 3 goals or 3 mistakes by the inexperienced young players that have led directly to goals. Like, not, here's, he took a bad touch and then, there was 5 minutes of this, 5 minutes of development and then that led to a goal. 3 by Edwards, or 2 by Edwards and 1 by Chunky. It's at some point, you're going to have to get your feet wet.
Derek Williams. Not a great game.
I was just going to say,
I'm not. I know that, but I'm not talking about.
I'm just saying.
Talking about the young players. I know, and I get that. Bonehead. We've covered that. I'm just saying. Unfortunately, 3 goals have been experience less mistakes. That have led directly to goals. That to me is a bit of a problem.
I think Matt Edwards coming on in a substitution role, not having to start. Those 2 goals that Matt Edwards were responsible for were in match 1 and match 2 of the season. Yes. I don't know that I have seen in the last 3 matches that Edwards has featured in that he's done anything, anything like wrong. I actually think he was it was his pass that led to the Latte goal.
I'm aware.
To John Day, and then John Day hits that.
Yeah, exactly. Very good awareness, and I think he's been playing very smart. defensively respond, especially in the match against Cincinnati. He played, and I was petrified of him out there. He was the one I was like, oh God, this is not going to end well. Not gonna lie. I mean, we're out there with no center backs anyway. And, let me put my trust in 20-year-old fullbacks. Cool.
Will Riley
well, the one, of course, literally like the one defensive player that we had that didn't get called up for international duty for whatever reason. Although you watch, he'll probably start getting some looks now because frankly, I feel like the more he's out there, the more comfortable he looks, the better chemistry he's got with people, the more space he's creating. And, I'm not going to fault him for getting run down by one of the better offensive players in the league after he ran him ragged for an entire half. Right. And got up under the guy's skin.
Yeah. And I know that. And we covered that when that happened. And I hear you. And he has continued to do better. What I'm trying to kind of circle back to is Diallo needs to understand when it's okay to play the kids and when it's not. And that was Glenn. That was something that Glenn and I both talked about, was that it's,
well, in this situation,
we didn't agree with the substitutions, and
in this one, I don't think he had a choice, just because of he didn't.
I don't think he had. I don't know where he did have a choice. Yeah, and where he did have a choice, and where I'm going to question his choice.
Could do it, probably.
Yeah, why wasn't Abram put in?
He's a center. He's a center back, so he's not a left back.
So we've never played. You're saying we've never played with 3 center backs across the back because it
changes the formation a lot.
I understand that, but is that the better choice than the 17-year-old kid?
I don't know if it's the better choice, but if I could totally see justification for wanting to give Dominic, a kid who has done well, a chance at left back, so you don't have to change everything.
Maybe so, and that's why we're not the coach.
Given there was also very limited training time. Everybody didn't get back until Friday.
In that situation,
that's also a factor
you got
here
15 minutes. Probably easier to put the kid in than it is to go and talk to the entire team about changing a formation. About changing a formation, I think it's easier.
Of what we're saying.
Of the kid, yeah.
Yeah, of a kid.
Yeah, I'm kind of changing my opinion on it a little bit because I think it is easier to throw the kid in.
I'm changing mine too. I'm changing mine the other way.
No,
I'm saying I disagree. I
don't know if you can go into the locker room 15 minutes before the start and say, hey guys, everything we rehearsed, we're changing because this one player can't go.
Well, it doesn't seem to necessarily have been the better choice because
we won.
Look what happened.
We won, though.
But we won.
I know, but his mistake and lack of experience seemingly led to a goal.
Let me tell you right now. So. It was 1 goal. There were 3 goals, and 2 of those goals I'm going to put squarely on the back of a veteran defender.
Yeah.
Who I think if you want to call somebody out in terms of, I got some work to do, I think we need to look at, you, Mr. Smiling Irish Eyes.
Who has been consistent and great, and he'll be the first to own it.
He has made some bonehead mistakes. That is for sure.
That penalty was uncalled for.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of Dick Button, that fall was uncalled for.
1 kid was responsible for 1 goal, and a veteran starting was responsible for 2. So
but they're for different reasons.
For different reasons, but he's still responsible for 2.
No, I know that. I'm just saying one is because he's a 17-year-old kid and doesn't have the experience. The other is because he made a big fucking mistake and he should go run some fucking laps.
2 of them, but that's why I'm saying. I don't think changing a formation prevents those 2 individual mistakes.
My concern just comes down to, I can think of 3 that have been caused by lack of experience. So we can't keep going to that. There needs to be better. There needs to be better options.
If there are other reasonable options, I think I would totally agree with you. But knowing what I know now and the points Jennifer brought up, I don't think there was a reasonable option here. I just don't. Now, if Ronald had been there, then I've got questions. But I understand why he wasn't, because you didn't think in a million years Amador's going to injure his quad in warm-up. And we got to stop doing that. We got to quit getting injured.
You know what you need to do to prevent getting injured?
What? Oh,
You need to do preventative self-care.
we're breaking in halfway into the takes with a Mason Mill. Sure, yeah, we can do that.
Wow.
Just
That was
derail
good.
everything.
Pretty good.
Alrighty.
I mean, you can't falter for that one.
No,
That was
no,
pretty
I
good.
can't. I can falter forever I want. Nah, I won't fault you for that.
No, you can't.
I actually was at Mason Mill earlier this week. I think you were too, Kat. Were you not?
As was I. Yes, definitely.
Who'd you get adjusted by?
Is that why your back is functional again?
Yes. No, it's not functional. It's just
Mine
not
is.
it's not as unfunctional as it was the last week. That was a different part of my back. No, I'm having some trapezius issues.
I promise you guys, despite
That's
our
a real
collective
word.
back issues, this place is really great. It's genetics. There's nothing we can do about it, but we would both be much worse off had we not consistently go to Mason Mill. Who'd you get adjusted by? I had Dr. Cohen.
Oh, I had Dr. Cohen.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Very great. Very
yep. He knows how to crack me just right.
Yep. Go in there and see him. 404-321-0082. Ashley or Rachel will be on the other end of the line to get you set up with your appointment. And I do believe it was Ashley who won the chili cook-off this past week. I think it was her recipe that got it done this year. I believe.
Excellent.
Sorry if I've got it wrong, Rachel, or whoever else. I think it was Ashley's chili that got it done. It's a fun thing they do every year with a little chili cook-off. What other chiropractor could you go to in town? Huh? Who else does this for you?
And get chili.
Who else does this for you?
I mean,
Nobody. Go see them. They're in Decatur, Georgia, off McConnell Mill Drive, open Tuesdays through Saturdays. Find them on the web too, masonmillchiro.com, and you can book your appointment there. Jennifer, you were talking about some crosses into the box and what have you. Check that out. Check that out. Switches of play, crosses into the box. Shocking. There's no good explanation.
Who knew?
It leads to goals.
Hey,
Saba gets
Glenn.
another goal. There's no good explanation for why we don't do it all the time. So hopefully, last night shows us, you know what? We really should. We should do it.
We have no less than honestly, like number one, and I'm going to go back to Alexi because
Sure.
it wasn't just the playmaking, his service on the corners, like his location, his ball service from corners. We are so lucky to have, you have Miggy and Saba who are very, very accurate. And you have also Brooks Lennon, who is one of the better crossers in the league. A lot of people I know,
especially this year so far,
he doesn't get that credit that he deserves. I agree. No,
he really doesn't. And the fact that he's not ever, not even getting a sniff at the men's national team is, I think, really sad and pathetic. And
he didn't have a great year last year.
No, but in years prior,
this is in years prior.
He should.
I agree.
You know who else?
No, I agree.
You know who else should, especially considering the state of the men's national team? Gressel. He's gotten 2 call-ups.
Gressel has.
Gressel has been.
Gressel has gotten calls.
2 call-ups. He's played 2 games, but you know what I mean? Not in the rotation. And both of those guys should, because there's youthfulness there. My opinion. I digress. Go ahead.
But in any case, I feel like you're not wrong in that take, is that we need to be taking more advantage.
Good things happen.
Of that.
Good things happen. Just like good things happen when you give Latte the ball. Been saying it, man.
But Glenn, I've got a really good thing in a box.
Wait.
Should I show you?
Is there a song?
No. Yeah.
Step 1. Did you cut a hole in this box?
Not that kind
Kat
of.
has been patiently waiting.
This is a very, very
if you're not watching the video
expensive
feed,
box.
If you're not watching the video version of this, you're missing out.
You're missing out on the fact that Kat is wearing the most hideous kit training top ever dropped by MLS period, which was I don't know how you can call this a pride top, because there's no.
I can hear you.
Jennifer's
right?
in some sort of Miami pink, and I've got my Racing Louisville
I
kit
am
on
not
tonight.
wearing my. Okay, we had this discussion before we hit record. I'm wearing Party Animals pink.
Party Animals
I am
pink,
not
sorry. And I've got the Racing Louisville kit on tonight. We won a game. The ladies won a game tonight. Let's
who else won a game? Was another gem of a match by a friend of the pod, Amy's NWSL team, the Orlando Pride. Who are having themselves
I watched that
again.
one.
Wow. Marta Barbara Bonda is like on fire. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay.
Anyhow, in the
show
box.
Show us your box, Kat. Show us your box.
Oh, I was going to say, because,
Here we go.
Okay.
There's
big
so much
box.
fanfare with this.
Oh, wait. That is a really big box.
It is.
It's got a latch.
Ooh, it's a fancy latch. It's like a metal
this for the
fancy
audio listener. It's Kat's Emmy. It's Kat's
Emmy.
Emmy.
Oh, it's
won
this
an Emmy.
box is a beautiful. Is that wood? Is it wood? I can't tell. That's a wooden box. Yeah. So it's a beautiful wooden box with an antiqued brass latch and a lovely gold foil embossment of the Emmy logo. Oh, we're unboxing. Oh, there's a certificate of authenticity.
We've
that
turned into
in fact,
unbox therapy now.
Yeah, oh wow, that is gorgeous.
Wow.
Oh, it's so shiny.
See, it's got stuff on the inside.
It's shiny, and it's how heavy is that?
This is actually legit heavy. This is about 20 freaking pounds. And to the point where it's really difficult.
So when they hand this thing to you on stage,
hold on.
Like, I wonder that, do celebrities and like people like you who win Emmys, do you have to like weightlift before you go to the awards ceremony to
a little bit
be able to like lift? Wow, you're like really hefting that thing.
impressive.
There it is.
Has it got your inscription engraving in there too? Oh, that's very nice. That's cool.
That's fantastic. That is just best news and documentary. Wow.
Yeah. Best news and documentary Emmy Awards. So there it is. We are the
just leave it slightly right of frame.
I think we're the only podcast team in town that boasts an Emmy Award winner amongst our little coterie.
And now forever it shall be somewhere in the background. Although Jenny posted a really great photo of me holding it, and it was like I was kind of like this.
Yeah,
oh my god, it's
right
picking
there.
your nose.
It was going straight up my nose. It was fantastic.
Wait. Do that again, Kat. Do that again.
Okay.
Cool. That's my new profile picture on
Excellent.
Facebook.
We have an Emmy and you do not.
That's right.
What was what were we talking about? Latte? Yeah, latte.
I think we were
crossing. Yeah, we were crossing. It was. We were on number one. We were talking about goals. Switching and doing crosses into the box. But we were also starting to talk about latte, because if there's anybody that has truly been, I mean, the guy has got what? He's got 6 and 10. So far, 100% worth the money. He is coming good in every sense of the fashion. I mean, truly.
He's got 10 shots on goal. 5 of those are goals. 50% rate.
You pointed out a stat earlier that he only had 3 touches in the box this past match.
Yeah, so the take...
He had an XG of 0.23.
Well, look, that ball is as harmless a ball as you're going to find, and he still fights for it. He's still going to try to make something. The XG of 0.23 and the only 3 touches for him in the box is a little concerning for me, because that means he's dropping back a lot, not just for defensive reasons, which... Thank you very much. I appreciate that, the defensive work that he does. We've never had a striker do that much. But I think he feels the need to be part of creating the chances, because the crosses aren't coming as frequently as they should. The service to him isn't coming as frequently as it should. And I think that's something that's going to need to be corrected, because I want him positioned. Yeah. There's been a couple times where we have crossed it into the box and he's not there because he's dropped back trying to get in the mix of things. So hopefully we iron that out a bit more. I love that he doesn't need much to do it.
I'm hoping that's just a work in progress.
I really think it is, and I think the more they can get Miggy central, I feel like he's feeding off that energy a little bit better, and it seems to be a little bit more productive. But that's I do want to point out that I think some of us may be a bit hesitant to go all in on this guy. We got burned pretty badly.
We got burned big time.
We got burned pretty badly with the whole Gigi thing. And I think that there's a lot of us out here in the
third degree burned on that one. For sure.
Yeah, that are a little bit hesitant to kind of really fall in love and get behind this guy.
Take it for what it is right now. Right now, it's very good.
I just want to do it. I just want to jump off that, the 10-meter springboard.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it because he has not shown himself to be anything other than, he didn't come in here with the same kind of swagger, right? And I think that might have been part of my hesitation because I expect, again,
you expect a little bit of the striker ego,
and he doesn't appear to have that.
There.
Okay,
he's not a villain.
Okay,
he's not really a villain.
Okay,
and
he's just a worker.
He's very humble.
Yes,
that was exactly what I was going to say.
Which is an odd thing for a striker to be humble and still productive at his rate.
Yeah, and that one last night was as cheeky as the TRA goal last year. But I'd say it's less cheeky because he just didn't stop. He was just like, no,
it's bad communication.
He was playing to the whistle. He was playing to the whistle. He was opportunistic. Be there and make something happen.
For me, the defender really should just clear that ball. Ask Derek Williams if you should let a ball bounce. Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, should the keeper come out and smother it? Yeah, but what's the bigger risk? Man, just
You're
punt that thing.
There.
Just punt that thing.
The ball, the ball was closer to the defender, to Martins, than it was to the goalkeeper.
Or if you can manage a throw in, I think that's a better way to do it. But credit to Latte, he's like, you know what? Maybe something's going to happen here. And did.
He was there. Also, that's peppering the box again.
If you watch the little reel on Brad's social and you see these little interactions between him and the team, there's no distance. It's not him towering over everybody, pounding his chest, being all, I am Yorgos. I scored the goal. Love me, worship me.
I don't remember that exactly, but sure.
His goal celebration was not this, right? It wasn't like it's me, whatever. It wasn't subtle. It was stand here and worship me. And if you're not watching the video, I'm standing here like Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil because that was Yorgos's.
Okay,
that was Yorgos's goal celebration. Okay,
he was saying he was God's gift to fucking scoring goals. And I'll tell you what, unless he was hurt.
If ever there was a goal to go ahead and hit the Christ Redeemer celly, that one probably would be it. That is not easy what he did. First of all, the finish, not easy. Second of all, you got to get around the defender and not foul him. These are
and not touch him.
Not easy to do. Lily has posted a photo of me on Instagram with the takes, and it's literally 5 seconds after he scores the goal. I didn't even make a sound. My jaw meet floor. I'm just there. My hat is off. And I'm just like I just couldn't believe that he made a goal out of that. It's nothing. And he makes a goal.
I'm not supposed to happen.
I'm just very exceedingly impressed with his work rate on and off the ball, his defensive responsibility, and his soccer IQ. These are all things that, he was brought here to score goals and wreak havoc in front of the net. And he is doing so much more than that.
You're talking about it.
He's really bought into the whole team aspect of all of this.
I think he was really blown away when he came here. Those initial videos. Oh my God, they got my name up on the board. Oh my gosh, and the name on the locker.
I was really surprised. And I'm like, bro, have you not seen what Atlanta United
I don't think
can
he's been
be?
treated. I don't think
he's
been treated like that.
And I don't think he's seen it.
I don't think he's been treated like that before. Maybe Yorgos got a little bit of that love and adoration and those extras before. I'm not sure. But this guy seems genuinely grateful. Really.
Yeah,
really.
And I mean, Celtic is a fairly large team. Middlesbrough, yes, it's English Football League, whatever. But yeah, maybe he just hadn't gotten the treatment that we've been giving him.
But this seems more like his personality. This is who he is, I think. I know.
And
I'm risking third-degree burns. I know. But I feel it.
But I already think that Latte Lath is so much more suited to Atlanta United than Yorgos ever was.
Your lips to God's ears. I hope so.
I don't know. I'm here for it. And I think we just need to keep showing him that he belongs here in whatever way, shape, or form that looks like. And if that means I got to start handing out coffee cups in the supporter section, I'm happy to do it.
Maybe iced coffee, though. Just be on the safe side.
Oh yeah. I don't need anybody getting actual third-degree burns.
Yeah.
Or suing me because we live in America. But yeah, no, I'm just
don't buy it from McDonald's.
It's
You'll be fine.
It's been a real joy to kind of watch him come good. And the thing that you were saying about Ronny really laying into people in the locker room, the thing that could, like, you want to talk about I think there's definitely some things in that locker room that have not come good or worked out. Like, there's clearly some more time in the reality show house is required at this point. But I don't think our dysfunction is anywhere near as bad as the dysfunction that's going on in New York right now, because I have never in my whole life seen Goose go at or into a player or have any player go into Goose the way that Thiago Martins went into Matt Freese after that.
We were just saying, arguably it's as much as on the defender, it's as much his mistake as it could have been the
New York
keeper's.
was playing pretty good ball.
Yeah,
though.
no, but that
New York's playing pretty good ball though. I mean,
well, they were, but
passing
that's not what we're saying. We're saying that kind of relationship that
interaction
Martins
between
and
your
the goalkeeper had. You don't talk to your keeper like that.
You don't
throw a fist. You don't throw a fist.
It's
at
in
your
the moment.
like
You're
that.
gonna be angry about it. I don't think there's anything in that.
You're gonna be angry about it, but again, you're still a team, and you have to kind of support each other as a team. And you're also talking about the captain and the only DP that they have on their roster having that kind of interaction with their goalie. Like, that's not great.
Maybe they do have those problems. We still have ours. In addition to our good problems for ourselves.
What are our good problems?
We have created some bad problems. Conceding from 2 individual mistakes and a PK on one hand. Well, it's nice not to have entire defensive collapses and breakdowns, sure. But that stuff is soft, man. That's soft. These soft goals. All 3 of their goals came from us. It's got to be cleaned up. Yeah, and we've seen that before, too.
They weren't legitimate.
It's got to be cleaned up. Players got to be sharper individually. But like I said, the positive side of that is, okay, it's not the entire back line that just went to sleep. All right, cool.
So what is the over-under on when we actually see a complete 90-minute game from this squad?
We need to see it in this homestand. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn was very much,
it's important
last
to see
week,
that before we go on the road.
We were very much, this is make or break this homestand.
I need the 9 points, and I need to see a pretty fully realized version of Atlanta United. And Dallas is going to be a great opportunity to do that. Carry the momentum of the past 2 matches. Dallas is not that great. They've got Acosta. They can, it's not going to be a pushover. But the travel and everything, I expect next Saturday to be as close, to be our best performance. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, we could be Amador list, which would be a pity.
I want the win. And I want the performance that we had with Cincinnati. Like that's as complete a performance I think we've seen, just didn't get the result.
I don't disagree.
And we need that next Saturday. I need a win, multi-goal win. I would love another cheap burrito. It'd be great. But, 2-3 goals.
That $4 off. What did you pay for your burrito today?
It came out taxes like $7, something like that. $6-7.
Less the 4 or with the 4?
Once the 4 is off, yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's an expensive burrito.
Hey, man, inflation.
It's fucking inflation.
This is what it's up. Moe's Monday used to be like $5-6. Now it's $7.99.
All right, so Atlanta, we're just going to need you to score that many more goals to take off that much more, because we can't afford.
That's right, man.
We can't afford these fucking burritos, y'all.
Man,
let's go.
We got tariffs. I need goals.
Yeah, tariffs on the burritos. Okay, I want my avocados from Mexico.
And I don't want any tariffs on my goals, man. Like, no hindrance to goals. Keep scoring these motherfuckers. That's right. I need to see a full performance. I had to pay
for this.
She did have to pay for her own Emmy. It's fucked up.
She wouldn't let, we wanted to start a GoFundMe for
it's something
Kat's
you
Emmy.
Don't see at the Emmys. As soon as they go backstage, they have the little square reader.
They have to write
They have
the
square reader, and they just tap the card. And
shout out to my mom, because my mom, obviously, I love my mother as much as anybody can love their mother, and she offered to pay for half of this. She was so proud. So
does she get to keep it in her house half the time? Then? Is it travel?
Are you giving her joint custody?
Yeah. Joint custody of the Emmy.
She got to touch it
on the weekends.
She got to carry it. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on in regards to this match before we close it out with some upcoming
No,
news and stuff?
I will just.
Or do you want to any of the comments we got? Do you want to talk about any of those? Should we get?
Oh yeah, we did get.
Yeah,
hey, by the way,
guys,
thank you for making a whole bunch of comments this week. It was great, and
yeah, we knew this was going to generate a lot of interesting feedback because of the way it was won.
Amy is pretty much in agreement with most things that we were saying tonight. She's also thrilled for Alexi, has been just as concerned. And Amy, thank you for coming on last week in substitution for Kat. That's really appreciated.
Much appreciated.
And her low-key man of the match was Ronnie's tactical changes. Like I said, hindsight, that probably should have been its own take, because that played as critical a role in the win as anything or more. You know,
well, I would like to see some of the game threads, because you yourself said that you had to go back and rewrite the takes.
Yeah, my initial takes were totally different.
After we decided to come out and win the fucker, we had to change our entire takes for the game, which is great. Please make us do that as often as possible.
It makes me have a great deal of sympathy for real journalists out there, like your Doug Robertsons of the world,
especially
who have to have the article written like as soon as the whistle blows, and then that happens, and you got to rewrite the whole thing.
Right. So seeing the game feed, I'd love to see the game feed of all of the naysayers and the people who are saying that, the fucking season's over, everything's going to shit. I was
kind of one of those people.
The people that went to go get milkshakes, it's
wow, Kat. Wow.
Out. Hey, Glenn Fell thinks that the whole thing can be solved just if people.
That was the second time. You're mad. You're more mad the second time.
If people just wore more chicken wings. So that's become a thing now.
There you go.
The chicken wing necklaces.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you want one of those dope chicken wing necklaces, in fact, the new lemon pepper wet ones are extra dope and actually taste like lemon pepper wet.
Dripping?
No, but like the gal who makes them over at the Resurgence tailgate, you can go find her. She's wearing literally wearing a sign that says chicken wings. They're really fun, but the ones she made that taste like lemon pepper wet they actually taste like it. It's not just the decor. And she did hand season these chicken wing necklaces, and they're pretty awesome. So hey, support your local independent artists. Go over there and grab yourself a chicken wing necklace, because this is Atlanta. Nothing says Atlanta like chicken wing bones. And they're great conversation starters. Everybody thinks mine is real, and they try to eat it.
It does look very real. Hey, Tim Steimer has an interesting take, a little bit long, but I kind of want to read the whole thing. Okay. He says that I think we found a formation that brings the best out of the group. Obviously, he's talking about the last 30 minutes, right? Not enough credit has been given to Fortune. His ability to move the ball quickly and accurately completely set the tempo for the last 30 minutes. And credit to Alexi for giving Jay that room to do his thing, and for always being ready defensively as well as the attack. I think that's pretty accurate. It's interesting the different sixes that we have here. Sixes, eights. I think they're kind of interchangeable and fluid between Jay and Bartow. Bartow brings a more calming, controlled kind of presence, and Jay's got more of that gasoline, straight unleaded attack, and I think both.
I like that about him.
I would like to see Jay
that is developed that way for him.
That way. It makes more sense, but I understand that Bartow's the paycheck, the salary guy. You kind of got to start him. I almost wish their skill sets were opposite, or their pay was opposite. You know what I mean? Well, because I think Jay, let's start. Let's get the goals. Okay, Bartow, we got the goals. Come in, set this thing up, and see this out. But just an interesting observation from Mr. Steimer there. So
we had another comment in the Footy Mob member chat from Scott Danielson, who originally said dumb mistakes, but it was an entertaining game, and then went on to say, usually we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, so I'll take a win. How many of us saw 8 minutes of stoppage time and thought, here we go again? And the reason I want to bring this up is
that was my commenter. That's who I was talking about.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I'm sure y'all remember the Philly match last year where we snatched a draw from the jaws of victory inside of the span of 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And that match was the downward spiral that basically wound up ending our season for the most part. I think, and I would love to hope, if Optimist Jen had her druthers, this is the kind of match that we snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat out of. Like the ones that, doesn't happen like this all that often. Mm-hmm. I would love to think that this is the match that the light bulb goes on after and it turns it around for us.
Some of the commentators were saying exactly that on ML. And actually, I think it was Kevin Egan saying that on MLS 360 was that this could be the pivotal match that changes everything around. Knock on wood.
It could be.
Cross your fingers, rub your little rabbit's foot, whatever you got to do. But it could be this. It could be that we fought back. There's a moth. Get out of here, fucker. Sorry. Sorry. You can't put a little, string in front of a cat and have her not. So if this is what it takes, if this was the one, if we can look back at the end and say that was it.
Yeah.
That was the moment.
You don't ever know when you're in the moment when those moments are happening.
True. It always takes some reflection some time after to go back and say that was it. Hey,
sometimes you're getting a milkshake.
Shout out to Josh B 1017 on Instagram too for the title suggestion of where we looked done in, but pulled off the win. Don't ever tell me
things like that if you don't want me to.
Yeah, don't ever.
What were you saying, Glenn?
Nothing. It's fine.
What were you saying, Glenn?
Nothing important.
Of course it's nothing important.
What? You were calling somebody out on the socials. Who were you calling out?
Josh B 1017. He was just saying where we looked done in but pulled off the win.
That's a good pun. I like that one.
Well, it's not even, it's more of a rhyme. It's just rhyme time.
Speaking of time, I think we're out of it. Anything else with the match, or
pity,
or you want to get to closing this thing out and talk about what we got coming up?
Let's talk about what we got coming up because we got some really exciting fun stuff.
What we got coming up is a 2-part.
Hey, you know what? The children are our future.
They are.
They are our future,
and
and they're going to be on a future pod on May 19th. So we have a 2-part pod coming up with the fine folks from Decatur FC who were at the tailgate this past Saturday. That was cool. Little tent set up there. April 21st, we're going to have Gareth O'Sullivan, who's the owner of O'Sullivan's, if you didn't know, in Decatur on the square, and Joel Gold, general manager. He
also owns Decatur FC.
And Decatur FC, yes, of course.
Why we're actually talking about this.
Owns O'Sullivan's, too. I think it's kind of cool that he's just invested in Atlanta in multiple ways. And then on May 19th, we're going to have Coach Chapman and a few players on as well. And we're going to bring on some kids to ask them some questions. And speaking of questions, if you have any questions for Gareth or for Joel, who will be on April 21st, anything about the club itself or the growth of the women's game, the WPSL, sort of an AMA, but try to keep it to soccer related questions, not a full on Andy and Randy 92.9 AMA where they literally will answer any question you have midday show, which is a lot of fun. Try to keep them to more questions about.
I actually do think after talking to Joel this weekend that they would in fact answer any random questions that you have, but we would like to try to keep it a little bit more soccer related and, just as what they're doing over there with Decatur FC and fostering community growth and visibility for the women's game.
Don't ask them for relationship advice is what I'm going at. Or apparently Jen's cool. Like she thinks they would be great counselors. I don't know. This whole thing could go off the rails. Good Lord.
I don't think that's why they want to talk, but I do want to thank them for coming out and for talking to us and scheduling this.
Yeah,
and,
it's really cool.
I love that they are going out and about and like, it's not just us, it's everywhere. Like they're trying so hard to boost, to amplify the signal of this. And it is really important because I think, just from the standpoint of setting a positive example for women right now and for young ladies that are trying to figure out, like where their roles are in life. And, we all know working through, growing up is hard, right? Adulting is hard. It's all hard. Being a human is hard. And when you have to learn how to navigate the dynamics of relationships with other human beings, sports is one of the great equalizers in all of that. And I think that there's a lot of women and a lot of young girls who don't realize the opportunity that they have at their hands if they want to pursue something like that at a, in a next level kind of capacity. So, it's really great to have a community ambassador like Decatur FC to go out there and set that example for these kids.
Set that example that they provide that very real opportunity.
Yeah. There's something about it that feels really unique because it's a local level, but it's still a professional thing. It's amateur, if you will, as far as levels go, but it's still a professional thing. And it shows some of these young athletes, look, this is what's possible.
Yes,
this is what you could do if you want to do this.
There are pathways and there are more coming. This leads to something else, Atlanta United led to this, and this leads to something else. Like, it's cool. It's great. I love it. And I really appreciate them
coming. By the way, their season tickets are on sale. You can get them. They're very reasonable. Support women's sports.
I will put the link in the show notes. They are extremely reasonable. And this place is easy to get to. It's at Decatur High School. You take MARTA. There's plenty of parking. Yep. Downtown Decatur's great. It's just a good night out. You're right up on top, close, personal, intimate setting. And it's a good product, y'all. I'm telling you, it's good football. It's good football. Yeah. You will be entertained. It is a good time.
And it's something that I would do too. Is if it was possible,
it's definitely more entertaining than the first 60 minutes of that match.
For sure.
I'll give you that. It's something that what I would do, and I think Glenn did this a good bit when he had the season tickets with the twos. If you can afford them to be able to support them, and I don't mean the twos, but if you can afford a set of season tickets to be able to support Decatur FC, because obviously anything that you can do for them monetarily is going to help them with with things that they need. But if you can do that, then you can also offer up opportunities for friends and family that can maybe go over and catch a match if you can't get to every single one, because sometimes that's a little bit difficult to do. I understand that. But you can just say, hey, you want to go check out Decatur FC? I'll give you my tickets for the weekend.
And then they tell somebody, and
then they come in and yeah, exactly. And it's always a good thing. So yeah, they're extremely reasonable. If you have the money, you want to support a local semi-pro level, please do.
If you love something,
it's not just local sport, it's also local business. It's also supporting
that's
good people in the community that are doing good things to build the community. So that's
and I think too, a lot of these players are local as well. So
a lot of them are.
You're talking about people who grew up here wanting to
keeping it in the family,
part of the sport and
keeping
play.
It in the A. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look for that coming up soon. And again, if you have any questions, and I'll put the word out on socials again once we get a little bit closer. It'd be a lot easier if everybody just emailed them to us, so I don't have to scroll through various social feeds to pick out questions. You could submit them there. I'll do it anyhow. Of course, I will. But if you could just email them to us, 5takesonthefivestripes@gmail.com. That would be lovely. I would really appreciate it. And then we'll pick a few questions to ask. The pod's only going to be about an hour-ish long, probably a little less, so we can't get every single question, but we will try to get to as many as we can. If you want relationship advice, you could try it. I don't think it's going to get asked, but you could try it. You could try it. Or your favorite milkshake. All right, so
oh my God, look, I didn't send it. I just sent it just now, and I didn't send it.
If y'all could, if I only kept our group chat as part of the video feed. It's fire.
Right, that would get us in even more trouble.
Y'all are both just know it's coming, and it's coming for you when you least expect it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Is it chocolate flavored?
Listen, you got your 15 minutes on ice skating. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, please like, subscribe, hit all the buttons. It really helps us out. It really helps FanTV out. Thank you for supporting them, and for Mason Mill, and for Decatur FC. It's all really important stuff, and we don't take none of it, for granted. We will be back next week to talk about a complete 90-minute match, the fullest realization of this team that we have seen to date, against Dallas, FC Dallas, coming to town. Another 3 points in the bag. It's going to happen, yeah? Confidence is high.
You know me. I don't talk about Bruno, but when, Glenn gets on his optimism high horse, I am not one to not joust him off of it.
I I'm on my horse or I'm off my horse.
That's a visual.
You know,
That's a visual right there.
And it's frequent.
I got to drop another Knight's Tale reference earlier this week in the Discord, so I'm just kind of, feeling my like Heath Ledger versus Rufus Sewell moment right now.
Yeah, it's called a lance. Hello.
And you have been found wanting.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you very much. We will be back in a week's time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
Meow.
Emmy meow.
Okay, in case you are not watching the video, Kat just meowed through her Emmy sphere.
Yes.
You needed the visual on that. Have a great week, y'all.
It's an Emmy meow.